All right, guys, so Yama is finally here. So I've been testing out this character ever since I finished my live stream, and I'm pretty much going to go over, my honest thoughts on Yama and is he worth summoning for? Like, should you guys actually invest in his character? So we're not gonna waste any time. We're gonna hop right into it. So after I finished my live stream, I got like a few more copies on my Yama. You guys can see I got him at 1 purple star. I'm currently using the trial mode right now, teammate trial. Linked him up with my Punisher in. But let's get right into it, man. Let's hop right into it. So for Yama, right? We're gonna read his kit here, right? We're not gonna read the whole thing, but I'm pretty much gonna summarize his entire kit for y'all. So for his passive, King of the Canines, it says, at the start of the battle, Yama's physical and magic resistance increases by 35%. And then his attack is going to increase for each ally in the zone. So if there aren't any allies in the zone, he's not going to receive that attack increase. And then he's also going to receive a defense increase if there are for each enemy in the zone. So for each ally in the zone, he's going to increase his own attack, and then for each enemy in the zone, he's going to increase his defense. Max 3 stacks, excluding summoned beings. And then it says right here, Yama becomes immune to fear and knockback during the battle. The next thing we have is his active skill, Shiver with Fear. This active skill is really, really good because he's able to reduce the enemy's energy by 30 every second, which is really solid. And he's also able to decrease their attack by 60%. So he's going to be, pretty good when it comes to, lowering damage when it comes to DPS characters. And it says right here, in addition, when enemies attack Yama within the K9 zone, he counter attacks with 300% of his attack as damage. And then we continue even more. Active skill, Lone Welling Crimson Arm. So this active skill, he's pretty much grabbing the enemy, pulling them right towards him. He's pulling the enemies towards him, and then when he does that, it says right here, he's going to deal damage equal to 450% of his attack to enemies within range. And then in addition, the skill's remaining cooldown decreases by 1 second whenever he is hit by an enemy. So whenever enemies hit him, the cooldown of this active skill will decrease by 1 second, which is pretty solid. So he'll be able to pretty much spam this active skill. And then last but not least, his ultimate special move, Wild Wave Blades of Rage. Yama provokes nearby enemies for 6 seconds and proceeds to use full mimicry for both arms. Yama cannot act during mimicry, but he becomes immune to stats effects and incoming damage is decreased by 60%. Once Yama completes the mimicry, he deals damage equal to 900% of his attack to nearby enemies, makes them airborne for 3 seconds, and it says additionally, during mimicry, the attack coefficient of special move is increased by 75% every time he is hit, max 20 stacks. So it's pretty obvious that for his ultimate, it's probably going to deal some pretty solid damage with his ultimate. But yeah, that's pretty much his full base kit. And I will say the best part about his base kit is his passive, right? Giving him that physical magic resistance. I will say the defense increase is way better than the attack increase because he's not really a strong DPS tank unit. He's really not. I feel like he's more of like a survivability type unit. Like you want to focus on his survivability. So increasing his attack, nothing too crazy. Plus, in order for him to receive that attack increase, allies have to be inside that zone. If they're not in that zone, he's not going to receive these attack stacks. So the fact that it's 3 stacks, you have to have at least, I think, 3 allies, right? 3 allies in the zone. So like that's not gonna happen because they're gonna run, Duon, you're gonna run Gusting, you're gonna run him with like multiple support and DPS characters. You're not gonna run him with like 4 tank units or 4 warrior characters. That's just not gonna happen. So I will say the attack stacks is not gonna be easy for him to increase his attack because you're mostly gonna run him with like, ranged units, support characters, and then when it comes to the defense, it'll be easy for him to build up the defense stacks because there's going to be enemies within that zone. So I will say the passive is honestly pretty good. Shiver with Fear, very, very nice. You guys are going to understand why Shiver with Fear is really good. And his ultimate is also pretty good. I will say Lone Welling Crimson Arm isn't that crazy, but it's pretty solid. So that's his base kit. You guys understand how he is, how he works. Now, his exclusive equipment, I will say his exclusive equipment focuses on one thing, which is Shiver with Fear. It says Shiver with Fear is enhanced, restoring Yama's HP by 10% every second while the skill is active. So he has HP recovery. Hit a level 2, Shiver with Fear is enhanced, reducing the enemy's defense by 40% while the skill is active. And if for level 3, Shiver with Fear is enhanced, reducing the enemy's physical resistance by 20% while the skill is active. So he has that physical resistance shred. And if for level 4, using special move immediately activates Shiver with Fear. So I will say his exclusive equipment, it's good, but like the fact that his exclusive equipment is only focused on one thing, which is Shiver with Fear, I don't know, man. I don't know. I feel like they should have, did a lot more with his exclusive equipment, except focusing on Shiver with Fear. But I guess it's a decent. I'll say his exclusive equipment isn't extremely broken, right? It's not too broken, but it is good when it comes to survivability and him essentially inflicting debuffs on the enemy because of the defense shred and physical resistance. So it's nothing too crazy, but it's still pretty solid. So that's his exclusive equipment. And then now when we come over here to his revolution. So I will say for his revolution, considering how his damage isn't that crazy, especially at high deficits, I don't like the fact that they tried to increase his damage for his revolution. Because when we look at his revolution tier 4, it says King of the Canines is enhanced, increasing attack and defense increase rate by 60%. I will say the defense increase is pretty solid. Effects from this skill cannot be removed with buff removal skills. So, tier 4 isn't really that insane. Like, it's solid defense and attack increase, but once again, his damage isn't even that insane, especially at high deficits. So the only thing that he's benefiting from this revolution tier 4 is the defense increase, and that's it. So tier 4 is already, pretty mid, to be honest. And then for revolution tier 5, it says Wild Wave Blades of Rage is enhanced, increasing Yama's special move pierce by 20%. Also during Mimicry, additionally increases Yama's special move pierce by 4% every time he is hit. Max 20 stacks. Buff cannot be removed. I feel like this Revolution tier 5, now this is my opinion because, I've been testing him. I feel like this Revolution tier 5 is just a waste. I do feel like it's a waste because once again, his damage at high deficits, he is a tank unit. So them trying to enhance his damage when he really doesn't deal that much damage is just weird. It would have been better if, like, for his Revolution tier 4 and 5, you guys implemented more debuffs for his tier 4 and 5. Let's say for tier 4, the physical resistance shred is enhanced by, like, you'll be able to, like, for this passive right here, right? I will say it would be a lot more interesting if they added, like, okay, he receives an additional 50% physical and magic resistance, or he gets like a swiftness boost. That would have been a lot better. And then for the Revolution tier 5, when he uses his ultimate, provoke, because you guys can see when we come back over here to his ultimate, it says he provokes for 6 seconds. It would have been better if they said, all right, for his ultimate, he'll be able to provoke for 10 or 15 seconds. That would be a lot better, right? And enhancing his provoke, increasing the duration. I feel like that's way more useful. And instead of them focusing on special move pierce increase, he'll be able to, let's say for the ultimate right here, on the, I will say the incoming damage decrease is pretty solid, but what would be a lot better is if, like, they implemented something like, okay, he uses his ultimate, increases provoke by an additional 6 or 7 seconds, and then to be able to reduce the enemy's physical resistance by an additional 40 or 50%. I feel like that would be a lot better. So them focusing on, increasing his damage when his damage isn't even that good, it's honestly a waste. It really is a waste, and it actually pisses me off how, like, they tried to make him a full DPS tank unit, right? Especially with this ultimate, like 20 stacks. I don't know, man. It's just weird because you're pretty much getting like 80% special move pierce increase, and then they added another 20% special move pierce, which is like 100%. What's the fucking point, Which is, I don't know, man. It's just weird. So that's pretty much his revolution. Now, when it comes to his ignition weapon, so the ignition weapon I'm currently using on Yama, if we come down over here, I am currently using this ignition weapon Bari set. This set is really, really good because it's pretty much going to give him, effect resistance, more swiftness. And then for the 4-piece set effect, it says when Bari's HP drops to a certain percentage, the special blessing is activated. Once you reach 75% HP, a barrier that blocks skills 3 times is activated for 8 seconds. That is insane. The fact that he's able to block, this barrier is able to block skills 3 times, really, really good. And then the 50%, when his health reaches 50%, it says bar recovers 5% of max HP every second for 5 seconds. And then for 25%, bar becomes invincible for 2 seconds. So he has invincibility, max HP recovery, plus he has like he pretty much has the ability to block skills with this barrier 3 times for 8 seconds, which is really good. So I will say Bari set is very, very solid when it comes to survivability. So that's pretty much the set I'm currently using on him. Now, since he can activate provoke, you can put Yongo set. Yongo set is going to be a pretty, safe set for him. Gives him that physical and magic resistance. So if we come down over here, I'll try to find Myungo. So you can put Myungo set on him. It's a safe set. I would recommend you guys to use Bari instead. Bari is way more powerful, but Myungo gives him more physical and magic resistance, which is pretty good. And then another, good set as well is Zila set. Zila set is a safe set. If you don't know, which set to put on a character, Zila set is always going to be a safe set. But I will say Bari is definitely best in slot in my opinion because it just increases his survivability by a fuck ton. Like his survivability is just really, really good with Bari set. And this pretty much applies to a lot of characters. Like Bari is like one of like the new best ignition weapons because it works on every character. It's so good. I might put this on my white. But yeah, Bari set on Yama. Now the thing is, since he can reduce energy, some people would think, all right, then the new Mago set would be good. But once again, the problem is that his damage is just not worth. It's just not worth it. It's not worth focusing on his damage. I do feel like his damage is just like a secondary thing. It's like a a little side thing, like a side piece. He shouldn't worry about his damage. It's just a little additional to his base kit. It's just an additional thing. The main focus is his survivability and him pretty much, distracting enemies, being like a stall tank unit. So I will say Mago set, me personally, I wouldn't recommend this because his damage isn't even worth it. It's pretty bad. I tested him out with Mago set. It's just nothing like, it's just not that crazy. It really isn't. It's nothing too crazy. We have DPS characters. We got Duan, Gusting, White. Why the fuck would I invest in a tank unit and focus on his damage? Right? Make him a DPS character when I already have other DPS units to use. It's just weird. So I would focus on making him a tank unit instead. Way better. So those are pretty much like the top 3 sets. Some people would say Alocasia, but it's like once again, he's not really a damage dealing unit. The evasion is actually pretty good though. Like the evasion is pretty nice, but still though, the physical peer is not really worth it. So yeah, am using Bari set, and these are my stats. Got magic and physical resistance right here. And then you guys can see these are my full substats. These are my full stats right over here. We got 1000 evasion, 1000 accuracy, 44.17% crit rate, 80% crit damage. We have a buff, physical and magic resistance, plus we have his passive, which is going to enhance his physical and magic resistance a lot more, which is really good. So I will say my Yama pretty stacked. Now, when it comes to his limit break, right? When it comes to limit break, I will say for a tank unit, I do feel like Yama works with low investment. But if you're trying to, invest in his character, I would recommend at least 3 purple stars. And the reason why is because of the additional defense, right? Additional defense really, really good. So I would go 3 purple stars max and I would just stop right there. Okay. So yeah, 3 purple stars and that's it. And if you're trying to go above that, you might as well just max him out because when it comes to tank characters, if you're going to use them 3 purple stars and below, that's good. But if you want to go above that, you might as well max him out because what's the point? So I'm using 3 purple stars, and that's it. If I end up maxing him out, it is what it is. But I don't think he's worth maxing out. I don't think he's worth maxing out. I think 3 purple stars and below is like the best way to go. So when it comes to his gameplay, right? So when it comes to teams, so I will say his performance at high deficits is pretty good. His survivability is really nice. So we're gonna go ahead and put low dupe Yama in. Now this enemy team is ridiculous. Like the deficit is really high for this one. But I'm just gonna show you guys, a solid example here. Let's just use Yuan, right? Yuan Albelda. Let's put in. I think we should put in like Garam. I need to max out my Garam, by the way. We can put Garam right here, and then we can just put in. I don't know. Probably put in like a healer or something, or a knock. I think a knock would be nice. So a team like this would be really nice because he reduces physical resistance. So we're gonna enter battle. We're gonna lose this because the enemy team is insane. They're gonna one tap me, but his survivability is pretty decent. All right, it's pretty decent. But the thing is, Blue Element lacks a strong tank character, and I know a lot of people don't have Escanor. So like, look at that right there. I mean, the deficit is really high for this one, so I'm not surprised that he died immediately. But yeah, once again, if you don't have Escanor, right? I do feel like Yama is a nice addition if you don't have Escanor, but at the same time, I don't feel like he's a requirement, right? So we're gonna put in a maxed out Yama here, and then we're gonna put the bar reset on our Punisher in so that can pretty much synchronize for our Yama. Let me put this on real quick. There we go. All right, so this is gonna be a maxed out Yama here. But yeah, I do feel like, since we have Escanor, Datamashni, I honestly feel like Yama has more utility against Datamashni. Datamashni is more of like a stall tank, and Yama's more like a debuffing distraction tank unit. Like you guys can see with max dupes, like his survivability is pretty good. It's actually pretty good. So yeah, look at that. It's actually not that bad. Yeah, the deficit in trial area is way too high. We're gonna come over here in adventure mode. So we're just gonna use this team. Let's take out Gusting. Let's put Duan over here, and then we're just gonna use the same exact team, same team. Put in Princess Anak. So yeah, yeah, I don't feel like Yama is a broken character. I don't think he's a broken unit. I just feel like he is a safe unit. I think that's the best way to describe Yama. He's more of a safe character, right? If you are lacking survivability for your blue element team, I think Yama would be a nice addition to your account. But I would highly recommend you guys to not invest too much into Yama. Like, don't max him out. I feel that's a big mistake because, since he is a tank unit, it's not really worth maxing out a tank character. Like, it's not really worth it. Plus, his revolution isn't even that crazy because they're focusing on amplifying his damage, which is just stupid. It's better for you guys to focus on, survivability and him debuffing enemies versus fucking, damage. It just doesn't make any sense. So I will say his revolution was a missed opportunity. They definitely fumbled when it comes to his revolution, but his base kit is still pretty good. You have energy reduction. He's able to reduce the enemy's energy. Let's see this real quick. Should we? I think we should use. Oh yeah, take out Escanor. So we're just gonna put this team in. We're gonna put in Kaiser instead. But yeah, so yeah, the revolution. Back to the revolution. I do feel like they fumbled the bag with his revolution. It's just not that crazy. It's really not that crazy because they're focusing on amplifying his damage. I feel like if they were able to focus on his debuffing effects, that would be a lot better. So that was definitely a missed opportunity. So yeah. Would I say that he's a skip? If you have Escanor, yes. I would honestly say that Yama is a skip if you have Escanor because honestly, I feel like Escanor is good enough, right? For blue element, he's good enough. We're actually getting clapped here. But if you do have Escanor, I don't think you should go out your way to get another tank unit when you already have a decent tank unit for blue element, right? I think Yama's more for the people who didn't participate in Seven Deadly Sins collaboration, so therefore they can essentially invest in a blue element tank unit that can pretty much carry them far because of survivability. So one of the greatest things about Yama is him being able to distract enemies. Like that is just really, really good. There are multiple, you know, situations where whenever I would use him with Duwan, any DPS character, there would be like four characters ganging up on Yama. Four characters ganging up on him. It's actually insane. So I will say his survivability and the ability for him to essentially distract enemies so that your range DPS units, your support characters can pretty much stay alive, really, really good. But of course, you do have to watch out when it comes to uh characters like that is a hard Flight Uric. By the way, guys, Flight Uric is an absolute asshole. I hate that character so much. I'm gonna drop a video talking about that guy because I really do feel like he is ruining um progression system in this game to the point where it's really hard to progress in trial area and adventure mode when they're constantly spamming Flight Uric. It's actually getting worse and worse and worse. So I might make a video talking about that because they're doing way too much with Flight Uric. But anyways, what was I saying again? I think I fucking forgot, man. As soon as I brought up Flight Uric, he just fucking, oh, I hate that character so much, bro. He's so annoying to deal with. But I think I was talking about Yama's capabilities. I think that's what I was talking about. But I will say, man, I thought that Yama, like, considering how they have, like, he has a PV trailer, I was assuming that this guy was going to be, a extremely broken tank unit. But I don't think he's extremely broken. I think he is a very safe unit to have. Very, very safe, works with low investment, and I do feel like he is a nice addition to Blue Element. Like you guys can see that he takes a lot of damage, and he's able to do his job, which is, distract enemies. And as long as he's able to do that, I think that's fine. I think that's actually fine, the fact that he's able to distract enemies because, that's his job. So I don't feel like for the people who are saying, Yama, because I've seen a lot of people saying Yama's dog shit. And then when I asked them, like, why do you think he's dog shit? They're like, well, his damage is horrible. And I'm like, well, he's a tank unit. His job is to not deal damage. But I don't blame them for saying that because the devs, they decided to put attack increase, special move pierce increase by like 100%. It's fucking stupid, right? I don't understand why they decided to increase his damage when that's pretty much not his like main job. That's not his role. Role is to survive, debuff enemies, reduce energy, and do whatever. So yeah, I do feel like the revolution was just a missed opportunity. And when it comes to the exclusive equipment, the exclusive equipment is only focusing on one thing, which is his active skill. I think it was the haze, wait, not gaze. Yeah, the gaze skill. This one right here. Yeah, shiver with fear. I do feel like the exclusive equipment just pays too like it's pretty much hard focus on shiver with fear and that's it. It's not really focused on anything else. So I do find that odd. But I think the best thing about his base kit is shiver with fear and his passive and his ultimate, right? I think those are the three best things about him because of the provoke. But once again, missed opportunity with his revolution. It could have been a lot better. The damage increase is just so fucking weird. It really is weird. Because whenever Yama would be the last person remaining on the battlefield, I would never say, oh my gosh, can Yama solo this? No, he's not going to solo. He's going to stay alive, but he's not going to be able to, eliminate the enemies. So, once again, good survivability, but damage is horrible. Really, really horrible damage. We're going to do one more stage right here, and we're going to just end it at that. Yeah, those are like my honest takes when it comes to Yama. Those are my honest takes. I would highly recommend, some people who don't have a good tank unit for Blue Element, I would highly recommend you to at least get one copy on Yama, right? Get him to at least 3 purple stars. I wouldn't recommend you to go above 3 purple stars. It's just not worth it. But yeah, I would say 3 purple stars max and just call it at that. That's it. Leave it at that and save up for the next unit. I'm pretty sure next unit is going to be, I forgot who the next character is going to be. Is it going to be Yas Racha? I think that's how you say his name. Yas Racha? I forgot. But next character is probably going to be way more valuable. I wouldn't say way more valuable, but next character is probably going to be way more stronger than Yama, right? In terms of, I wouldn't say damage, but I feel like the next character is gonna have more value than Yama, right? So yeah, it kind of sucks, man, because I really do like this character a lot. I like his design, but they did his revolution dirty. They did his revolution really, really dirty. And one thing I forgot to point out is that Yama, his survivability is great, but at the same time, the chances of him staying alive without Awaken Yua, it is kind of tough. So so far, like this team right here, I have been abusing this team because Yua with Yama, really, really nice. Like his survivability is good. So we're gonna take out. Actually, we're gonna keep in this purple. Let's keep in this purple Yama. Let's keep in this purple Yama right here. And I'm gonna show you guys, his survivability with Yua. Like Yua just makes, every tank unit really, really good because of her heals. So we're just gonna go ahead and apply this right over here. There we go. So for this stage, I wasn't really using Yua, and Yama was pretty much dying immediately. So that's one thing that you guys do have to consider. Like if you don't have Yua, um, that's gonna be a L. Like if you don't have for men, Yama might not be able to survive throughout the entirety of the fight. So you guys can see right here, one purple star Yama, survivability looking really, really good with Yua. I tried to use him by himself. His magic and physical resistance is above 100%, but it's just not enough. So if you don't have Awaken Yua, if you don't have her, I keep saying Awaken Yua, Healing Flame Yua, is gonna be really tough for this guy to stay alive. So you do have to use him with the healer because sure, damage taken reduction, but the thing is the damage taken reduction can only activate when he uses his ultimate. So yeah, man. I'm gonna be honest, bro. I do feel like Yama, sure he's good with low dupes, but you have to use him with Yua. You have to use him with the maxed out Yua that he can actually stay alive. Because if you don't use him with the Yua, he's gonna die. He's gonna die pretty quickly. I'll say like 10 or probably like 10 to 15 seconds. He's gonna die, and once he dies, your whole team is cooked because he is essentially like your main distraction unit, your main stall tank unit. But I will say Yama is way better than Data Mashni. 100%. I do feel like he's way better than Data Mashni, especially when it comes to utility, which is really good. So that's like the main thing that's making Yama valuable so far is the fact that he is a blue element tank, and so far I will say that he has more utility than Escanor and Dadamashni. So he does have utility. He's definitely a valuable tank unit, but is he way more valuable than Princess Anak? I do feel like Princess Anak is still the best tank unit in the game because she just does everything, right? I do feel like Princess Anak is still the best tank unit in terms of support, but when it comes to survivability, um, it's probably between Yama, and this is purely a survivability, probably between Yama, Calivan, uh, Escanor. Actually, no, Yama, Calivan, Vargarv. I forgot about that guy. Vargarv has pretty good survivability. Karaka as well, but it's really tough to rank all these characters, man. Ability. So I'm just gonna stay in the blue element realm, but I do feel like Yama is definitely like the best blue element tank for sure when it comes to utility and survivability. It's just that if you don't use him with a healer like Yua, he is gonna die pretty quickly. So we're just gonna take out Yua here. We're just gonna take out Yua. We're gonna put him by himself. All right, and just look at what happens. Just look at what happens. Just pay attention. Bro is gonna get one tapped immediately. Let's just pay close attention here. All right, so watch this, guys. Look at this. So this is him without a healer. All right. Is he gonna die or is he gonna stay alive? Let's see. Oh, he actually stayed alive. Let's see how much damage he took though. So sure, you like it does. RNG can be a thing, but you guys can see Princess Anak took the most damage here. So there are some certain situations where yeah he can stay alive, but the chance of that happening, especially with low dupes, it's not a lot. So you would have to put him with Yua so that You know, you don't have to worry about him dying, you know, immediately. And I'm pretty sure, was that a maxed out? I think that was a maxed out Yama. Whatever. But yeah, put him with Yua, and he's gonna be really, really tanky with really, really tanky. But other than that, I do feel like Yama is a pretty cool character, really cool design, and I'm enjoying him so far. I'm really enjoying him. Um, One thing I will say, I thought that his gameplay, he was gonna have like his regular outfits. Because if we come over here to the shop, you guys can see that he has like a regular fit, right? Normal fit right here. I thought this was, you know, his base form. I mean, it's pretty obvious this is his base form, but I thought he was going to transform when like he uses his ultimate or something like that. But apparently it's just a fucking costume, which is honestly ass. But yeah, that's my take on Yama. 3 purple stars and that's it. And yeah, that's all I can say for Yama. I will say this character pretty good when it comes to survivability, but damage is just horrible. Devs shouldn't have focused on his damage. They should have focused on his survivability and him debuffing enemies. I feel like that would have been a lot better. But tell me what you guys think in the comment section down below, and I'll be catching you guys on the next one. Peace.